Today for April 29, I didn't really eat at all today, and I did not eat my breakfast. I did not prepare my lunch either, so I had to go early to visit my English class and finish up a gallery assignment that I did not do weeks ago, and I didn't finish it sadly. But thankfully, nobody was in a hurry today, and my mom this time skipped a traffic area while driving, and I got to school pretty early, although I did get around 8 o'clock in the morning. I got to class here in English class side by side with a door because someone was already going out to eat breakfast. Usually these are locked in the morning, so thankfully they were there. They helped me as they exited out, and I eventually got to my class pretty early. As I worked though, I heard that one of things that were going on that it was today's Jesus Club banquet, so I'm going to talk about that later on though. As I worked, I heard one of the girls went through a breakup today before presentations, and I heard that something's been going on internally, so I'm not going to reveal any of that, but something's been going on, at least what I've heard in the class. The presentations today continued at rapid speed this time. I realized that I'm probably one of the few people in the class who did use gifts to decorate their presentation. So, of course, then again, I did feel afraid of before presenting, but I always do this all the time. So, my goal is to go full confidence though, but although not really much really did happen. Most of today was cookie cutter. Thankfully, the volunteer force took out a lot of time as I realized it. And I thought of speaking in spontaneous Italian sentences, but I realized that that was way too much pressure too. So, I saw what I was doing and I knew we are not going to have enough time here or there. So, what I did is that I did mine. I tried my best saying my sentences, and even though I did stutter on a few, I did mine with low confidence. So, mine was also cookie cutter. Too many were hesitating that I realized during the presentation, though, but I did hesitate most on Gusar and its verb agreement and its irregulars. For PE, I played Uno with Rayon Scoop for a little bit, and it was a little bit entertaining here, and it was mostly fun. Although Giuseppe and Rayon did complain about, apparently, since one of my cards are not marked, it's the custom ones, someone said that it's a +4, so it's automatically like that. But if it's not written down, argues Rayon, it's not actually a part of the game. He argues as Giuseppe that it's already there anyway. It's already a free card, so you can do whatever you want, but it's not written down. Rayon argues back. For our PE role, Kalisa criticized by boys for eating chips in class, and or as they said, stop eating chips in physical education. And Kalisa got called out here this time. Like Darwinism here. Today was a makeup day to be doing walk-in one lap. And I ran this one just to get to a volleyball that was stuck in a court. The bad thing is that, as I said, Darwin, whoever gets a volleyball first gets a volleyball. Turns out the teacher didn't know that the tennis courts were locked, so I had to go to the teacher and he gave his keys to unlock the tennis court, but I had trouble. So I asked the student and he said that he didn't know. So I went to my teacher and he told me that, like, I told you, unlock the tennis court like this. You're hesitating on this part. Since I had to use extra energy to unlock the lock and then turn it to actually open it up. I spent like 60 minutes unlocking the other fence gates in the return, so I also felt like a prison warden at the same time. Later then, I visited Rayon Scoop, and I also bet that Giuseppe's team is going to win. But he told me not to go to Rayon's team and vice versa, even Levi wanted me to go on Giuseppe's team. But they said that they'll teach me what a sloppy toppy is if I did not join Rayon's team. And Rayon promised the same since he was also kind of soloing the team because the girls in the group ineffective. But anyways, it is a rare chance and opportunity, as I say, kind of like a Trojan horse event. The PE courts were closed and we're the only ones out. So I ran first and then I was able to get the keys. It so coincided that the tennis courts were locked and we had to go unlock the gates myself and I was given the keys to do so. Of course, if someone else had my keys and was in my position, I know they'd do something even worse with these keys, for example. And as for science, I talked to my teacher about yesterday's game and said that the Marlins eventually won and that their energy was decreasing. And I believe that the Marlins probably took advantage of this. I believe this was primarily for the pitcher side, and it was mostly fine though. Sadly, no free fast food, as he says, and no free offers since they lost. And as for the class itself, we had climate change notes, and we also learned about rising water levels. Sadly, Jen and two others did not pick up on the paper when the notes were projected, so they had to answer. Sadly, they had to find a reason why. Even the teacher let them use AI. Of course, the teacher still chose at random, and this time Salif chose, and then after he answered, he chose Taryn to answer. And I worked on the questions of the assignment as they talked, and as the notes continued. How climate change is still debated today, and obviously how it happens. The thing is that 11:32 a.m. today, 6 minutes before dismissal, the guy who always comes late again came late today, and I clapped, but everybody else welcomed him, but they did not clap either. I finished the questions assignment around this time, so what was funny is that the teacher said like 192 football fields a minute does deforesting cause to trees. And I wonder why he did not say like Magic or Imperials. It's just kind of like American thing. Salif had a unique accent when he said like using fertilizers that contain nitrous oxide. I thought he said something like nachos, and it really confused me because his accent is very much French origin, so the OUS is kind of jumbled up. There's the teacher signed work, but I already did it, as I said. And as for history, we had a video guide assignment to complete, and I learned about how democracy grew. Then we had yet another annoying Padlet assignment that I had to complete at the end, and thankfully it was only 4 questions. And I forgot that we have Jesus Club at the end. I only realized as we left a history class, sadly. And I'm going to integrate lunch period and English period at the same time since both events were happening in the classroom. And today was the Jesus Club banquet, one of the final days that we're going to have. And Colin, one of the coordinators today, and the teacher were also there. I entered instead and I asked how the thing was going to happen. And I had a short talk with Colin and a few other people who were also there, but I was not able to hold for conversations too long. The verse today was Deuteronomy 5:33, and the food was mostly chips, soda, pizza, and sandwiches. I wanted to ask them if they could make like a pie or maybe like a Thanksgiving dinner next time we end up doing it. I did enjoy it, and it was quiet, but Colin made prayer before we ate, and he said that even though it's just food that's made of fat, and that we should still be thankful for what we have and enjoy this last banquet that we're to be ever going because Jesus Club will be out of service completely until next year. Yeah, I kept myself unhealthily clean, so to speak. I just kept myself to like regular flavored chips, maybe like the Ruffles, maybe some pizza slices, but no soda, no chips that leave dust on my fingers. So I just kind of kept it like that, and I didn't talk to many either, even though I was able to somewhat hold a conversation here. I was even given the rare chance today to use my teacher's keys to assist in the cleanup guy who's also with Colin to move a lot of the trash out. I humorously said as he left, "Don't get trapped in there," as he went in the elevator. And again, in English, it's also a coincidence that the later, who's also hosted in my English class, and the teacher then, as I was also part of that class, gave me the keys and allowed me to use it even for like 2 seconds, just as much as I did in PE. So probably one of like the rare days today, Trojan horse events and two coincidences that may never happen again. For English, I bet 25 cents that students would be late and somewhere today. The instructions that we had today was about poetry and slam poetry. The instructions were to take 10 notes and 10 poem notes about each person and each character. I'm confused is that if we were supposed to write 10 per person and per each of their own background, or if we had to write it in total, like 10 notes in total for like 5 different characters on this side of the paper and so on. And I found this one really confusing because it doesn't specify exactly where. There's a missing antecedent. Out of the documentary, though, I like Nova's story the best because she didn't have a loving father. I realized that from age 10, she used to be with her father. Now she's age 17, changing from when she was just younger in the documentary Louder Than a Bomb. I learned how each person's past and how each person's livelihood affected who they were to them. And eventually, we learned about Lamar, Cody, and a bunch of other people. I believe this is also available on Amazon. It's called Louder Than a Bomb. The teacher stopped the documentary at 44 minutes, so I have no idea if Lamar got kicked from the poetry team. So Lamar's one of the people who's a part of this slam poetry team that's competing. Also heard about Adam's third grade project, just to note that. For math, we have a math assignment today, finding the angle inside an angle. And when I entered class, Samuel told me when I asked, "Is Davin here today?" He said, "Beyond me." But I said, like, haha, literally, because you said he's in Texas, we're in California. He said, pun intended. It was really funny, though, even though the class went really fast at this point. The teacher taught us how to find angles in a triangle this time, and I think I get how to do it, considering that I finally know where the opposite side goes. It's whatever the angle is being referred to. If it's being referred to angle B, then whatever is on the opposite of that side, A, for example. I did it fully in class, one of the rare times that I actually do this, and even though I still had trouble differentiating between rounding to the tenths versus rounding to the whole number.